Yer, what's good, y'all? It's your boy, Dab Poppy, aka Los Courtside, back again with another video. Today's video is you might need to move out of your hometown. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would I say you might need to move out of your hometown? Well, this is in regards to many aspects of life, not just with women. But in all aspects, I feel like it's imperative for young people to broaden their horizons, for them to see what the world has to offer, for them to get a different perspective on whatever is going out in the world. Sometimes growing up in one place, growing up in a bubble, makes us closed minded. It doesn't allow us to properly get out of our shell, get out of what we've known, and be able to fully experience all that life has to offer. And I'm gonna give you an example. So for me personally, I'm from New Jersey. I was born and raised in New Jersey. I grew up in South Jersey all my life. I came up in Mount Laurel. Then I was in by Willenboro, and then that's where I stayed until I moved out of my mama's house. And then I went to the military, and then I went out to California. But let me tell you, when I was there, it was cool. It was cool. I wasn't the most poppin' dude out in the streets, but I have friends. I was known in my community. Right, I was a regular kid, more or less. Like, not everybody has to be like a niche micro celebrity in their hometown. Sometimes you're just a regular human being, and you have friends and you have acquaintances that you've gone to school with and you grew up with, etc., etc. There's nothing crazy. When I was there, it was hard for me to view myself as the man that I wanted to be because I was always who I was before growing up. I was always that kid, that awkward kid that was a spaz back in the day. I was always, I think about all of my embarrassing moments of me growing up, and I felt like that was a part of me, and I felt like that was uh, who I was because that's what I grew up around. That's what I experienced. I never was able to view myself from a different point of view. And when you do that, when you grow up around those people and they see you a certain type of way, sometimes it's hard for them to see who you're becoming. Sometimes they only see you as the caterpillar. They not seeing the fact that you are in the cocoon, you about to turn to a butterfly because they don't understand that they're looking at something different now. They think they're in the past. They're thinking in the past. They're like, "Oh, you're still that like if you ever gone back home and you talk to your older neighbors or your friends or your old teachers, they say, I remember when you was yay high, blah, 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 blah. You used to run around with the pissy pampers and all that." They still see you like that, even though you're a grown adult, even though that you have evolved, even though that you have matured, even though that you have developed into an entirely different human being. They still look at you like that. So sometimes it's good to get out of that environment. Sometimes it's good to depart from there and to experience something that you've never experienced before. Put yourself in a group of people that don't know anything about you. Because when you do that, you give yourself an opportunity to be brand new. And I'm not saying that you are acting brand new in front of these new people. But what I am saying is that they are looking at you brand new with a clean slate. They know nothing about your past. They don't have anything to go off of except what you are right there in front of them. And you'd be surprised on what happens when you're in front of a new crowd. All those girls that thought that you were just this childish ass boy growing up, when you move out and you go to a new city, now they only looking at you as a man because they don't have any recollection of you as a boy. They don't have any recollection of you growing up and having an awkward face. They seeing the man in front of them. That's a lot more attractive than the women that you grew up with, and they still are in that mind state of you are who you were when we were in middle school. You are who you were when we were in high school. Even though you're in your mid 20s now, you're an entirely different person. And it's all about perspective at the end of the day. You want to be able to put yourself in a situation that is going to help you develop, help you to thrive, help you to expand past any type of limitation that you ever had on yourself. And being in your hometown puts a lot of limitations on you because you've only seen what you've had your entire life. So you don't know that there's more to go. You don't know that there's more to gain. You don't know that there's more to see because you're only in what you've ever known. And I think that it's helped me so much to be in new places, to be around different people, and to just still be myself, but to be myself in a new environment so that it's a bigger contrast with what I am around. I'm from the East Coast. Being out here on the West Coast, they operate completely differently. Their energy is completely different. The way that they conduct themselves, the way that they talk, the way that they dress is completely different. But with me being who I am, being where I'm from, and dressing the way that I dress and talking the way that I talk and conducting myself the way that I conduct myself, I set myself apart. Where I was just like all the other niggas on the East Coast, and we all act the same. And when I come across niggas from the East Coast out here, we dab them like, oh, blah, 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 blah. We make small talk like, yeah, it's crazy out here. Life is way different back home. And they know, and I know because we both came up from there. But we know when we out here, sometimes people can see you in a different light than what they would have seen you back home. They just saw you as another regular dude back home, but they see you out here and they see that you're different. And they can appreciate that a little bit more than somebody that grew up around you and they don't necessarily understand what you bring to the table. They don't understand who you have become. I'll use a metaphor. You ever been in your house and after a while, when you in your house, you don't know what your house smelled like until you leave for a while and then you come back and then you remember. But if you ever go to somebody else's house, you know what their house smell like. You want to know why you don't know what your house smell like? Because you get numb to it. And that's what happens when you grow up in your hometown. People get numb to you after a while. They don't look at you. They can't appreciate everything that you got going on. They can't appreciate everything that you are becoming and everything that you're working towards. They only see you for what you was before. They're numb to you. But when you get out, when you broaden your horizons, when you go to a new location, when you go to a new city, when you let your body be known on a global scale, on a national scale, on an international scale, you will become you come into contact with so many different energies, so many different people, so many different perspectives and cultures, and so many different demographics, and then they see you, and you're new because you're not from where they're from. You're not what they grew up around, so they look at you completely different, and that will make you look at yourself completely different. Because then you're going to be able to appreciate yourself and to know that, hey, yes, I am like the people that I grew up in my hometown, but this world is so much bigger than my hometown. And maybe I'm similar to them, but when I'm in the ocean, like when you in that small pond, yeah, we all the same. We all in the same vibe. But when you in that ocean, that big blue ocean, I'm talking Pacific, yeah, you stand out so much more. You get appreciated so much more. So if you are at home and you grew up in your hometown and you feel like you unappreciated, you feel like you are not where you should be at. You feel like you don't get play the way that you feel like you should get play, or you just feel like you're ignored or pushed aside. Sometimes you gotta go. You gotta leave, relocate, start fresh. You never know. You go somewhere else. They treat you one place like a commoner, and they can treat you in another place like a king. And you the same person in both. But the difference is the crowd. The difference is how they see you. You act the same, you dress the same, your morals and your values are the same, but they treat you differently because they see you differently. Because some people don't get this misconstrued and say, oh, you gotta leave home and act brand new and act like somebody that you never was before. I'm still the same nigga that I was when I was growing up back in New Jersey. And you can ask anybody. Nothing about me has changed. Maybe I've become a little bit more confident with myself. Maybe I've become a little bit more mature just because I'm older than I was back in the day. Maybe I'm a little bit more sure of myself as time has gone on, but I'm still the same nigga. I still hold the same values. I still hold the same morals. my fashion sense obviously grows, but it's not like I'm drastically wearing something different than I would have never wore before, or I'm expressing myself in a way that I never would have expressed myself before growing up. I'm still the same dude, but I go somewhere else and they could treat me completely different than how I was treated back at home. So that's the video for the day, man. I hope that somebody can see this and it helps you change your perspective on things and for you not to get caught up in a rut. You might be at home, you might live at home. I'm telling you, it's there's a big world out here, man. You need to come outside. You guys need to touch grass. You need to see it for all that it is because sorry, they treat you like a commoner in one place. They treat you like a king in another place, and you still the same you. Let you know you got that king in you. Just because somebody treats you like a commoner don't mean that you a commoner. Because when somebody else treats you like a king, they just seeing you for who you truly are. That's the video. I'm Dad Poppy. Like, comment, subscribe. You sell your soul.